Welcome back. Keith Hillier and Greg Childs have joined us. What a day of racing it was with the Blue Diamond and all the other big events at Caulfield and in Sydney. And Keith, what about Greg Childs? We spoke to him about 3 weeks ago here. He was thinking about appealing, decided not to. First Saturday back, wins the Blue Diamond on Riva Diva.
Yes, he did bounce back in great style, didn't he, Bruce?
Had some problems in the starting stalls with the bridle.
Yes, she's a very flighty filly in the barrier, and she reared up. The attendant went to pull her back down and the bridle came off. So we had to get a substitute bridle, and it was just way too big because she's only a 2-year-old. And we put it up as tight as we could, but on jumping out awkwardly, she veered to one side, and I went to correct her, and the bit went through into the side of her mouth, up by her cheek. So for the first half of the journey, I was travelling with just the reins in her mouth until we approached the first bend, and I was able to manoeuvre it back into her mouth and get around the bend, and away we came.
So to the layman like Keith and myself who hasn't ridden in a Blue Diamond, I mean, what's the feeling like when you've just got the reins in the mouth?
Well, not a lot of control. Probably lucky I drew barrier 1. I was able to have the other horses that held me in. At one stage she went pretty hard up onto the heels of horses directly in front of me, and she clipped and nearly fell at about the half mile. So we had a lot of trouble. So I was lucky that we were able to I was able to jolt the bit from the side of her mouth back into her mouth as we rounded the bend.
Bruce, despite all that, she emerged with her record intact. 5 starts, 5 wins, and now she's going to try to be the 5th 2-year-old to do the Blue Diamond Golden Slipper double. John's Hope Menikato bounding away, and Courtser have done that, but has won the race 4 times, so this is his 5th attempt. Last time was 79. Century miss, but he says he hasn't been concentrating on the race.
He said
don't know why, it's worth $2 million.
Exactly. He said the same thing about the Blue Diamond. He'd only won it once with Lord Dudley back in '75, but he's concentrating on all sorts of things at the moment because he's having a tremendous run. So's Greg Childs as we go to the Blue Diamond yesterday.
650 metres out, and the leader King Marauding by a neck on Verdingly. A length and a half further back running on Castle Pines. Loving Cup on the inside of Yachty. Riva Diva is close behind them, followed by Popka, a length and a half. Sparky Miss followed by White Nava, and Shinquillo is last of all. They're making the home turn. 400 metres left to go, and King Marauding will lead them into the straight, about to be tackled by Verdingly. But King Marauding has kicked away at the top of the straight. 2.5 lengths to Yachty, who's second. Loving Cup is third. They're followed by Riva Diva coming home well down the centre of the track past the 200. King Marauding, here comes Riva Diva with a great run down the outside, could be the danger. King Marauding tackled by Riva Diva, who hit the front, and Riva Diva for the IWF Blue Diamond. She races home to win brilliantly. Riva Diva first, a photo for the minor placing.
Well, brilliant performance, and while she's not favourite for the Golden Slipper, she's at 6-1 at the moment. Clan O'Sullivan at 4-1. I think she is the horse to beat, because if you are outstanding in the Blue Diamond, you normally do very well in the Golden Slipper. David Hayes had 5 runners and just 1 place getter.
His Verdingly started joint favourite with the winner, Bruce, and finished 5 lengths behind the second last horse and pulled up in a distressed condition.
Well, David supplied 2nd and 3rd in the Futurity yesterday. A very soft win by Mannerism. Greg was on Citizen in this. We'll ask him about his run afterwards. But have a look at Mannerism in the last 100 metres and how easily she finally wins.
600 metres left to go, and Redelva being tackled for the lead by Dapper's Hope, and on the outside Storaya coming around them, and so is Planet Ruler, well timed. Jack Pillen wrap around looking for a run in the centre, followed by Rechabite. Mannerism second last, and Citizen last of all. They're making the home turn. Dapper's Hope has dashed to the front from Storaya on the outside. Planet Ruler joining in with well timed, and wrap around still can't get a crack at them, coming down past the 200 metre mark, and Dapper's Hope the leader. Storaya, and on the outside Planet Ruler, and very wide as wrap around. Planet Ruler on the outside has taken the lead with 100 metres left to go. Jack Pill on the inside. Mannerism flying home. Mannerism's won the Futurity from Planet Ruler. I reckon wrap around third, and nose ahead of Storaya fourth.
Well, commentators have said one with your head on your chest. Well, she did that yesterday in the last 50 metres.
It's an amazing win, Bruce. In fact, she finished last in the All Stakes on a day where trainer Lee Friedman fancied her chances against Let's Elope. Yesterday's back to her best. She now goes to the Doncaster handicap with 52.5 kilos, 10 less than the stablemate Superimposed. I don't think he could beat her on that performance.
No, and she's unbeaten at 1,600 metres. On that run yesterday, bracket, Citizen, Greg, your thoughts on his run?
Most encouraging. He got a long way back, but he was had a checkered run in the straight. If he'd got a clear run, I think I would have been in the first 4.
Well, Damien Oliver's had tremendous success with Lee Friedman, and I think they've ridden, between them, they've shared 3 Group 1s in the last 3 weeks, and Lee won one before that in Adelaide with Gathernir. But He hasn't been riding Naturalism. And,
no, well, maybe he shouldn't have got some of the blame that had been given to him because Naturalism flopped yesterday. Incidentally, Bruce, Planet Ruler broke down after that race.
Bad luck,
winner of 1.2 million and will be retired, so that's sad. But Naturalism again yesterday flopped. He'll be tried in pacifiers instead of blinkers in the Alistair Clark at Moonee Valley next start.
Yeah, he was a bit disappointing. He went to the front, Mick Dittman the rider. Let's go to the Autumn Classic.
Naturalism is the leader, 600 metres left to go. The rider high on the withers on Naturalism. It leads a half length, Ready to Explode, and Lorento running on well. A length and a half to Lady Purpose as they make the home turn, followed by Coulong Road. Charleston Party further back, Famous Nick back behind them, Ego Man as they make the home turn. Naturalism being tackled by Lorento on the outside, who's making a big run, and they're clear as they come into the straight. Naturalism under the whip, tackle by Lorento. Down the outside, Coulong Road and Famous Nick from a long way back. Little Lorento has taken the lead with 100 metres left to go. Naturalism can't go on. Famous Nick from a fair way back, followed by Ready to Explode, but Lorento, an underrated colt, is too good, and Lorento won it nicely. Lorento by a length to Famous Nick. Ready to Explode may have tipped Naturalism out of third money.
He is underrated, Lorento. He's done a very good job winning the big race at Sandown and again at Caulfield, but there's got to be a big question mark now over Naturalism.
Yes, Lorento cost $13,000 at the Dalgety Premium yearling sales 2 years ago today, Bruce. He is a genuine horse. Richard Friedman said that Naturalism was not, and I think that must be accepted now. Star of the Realm was an eye-catching fourth in his return to racing at Caulfield yesterday, and he'll finish in front of Naturalism whenever they meet.
Well, I tend to agree with you. Star of the Realm was running in the opening event, the Autumn Sprint, and remember they went first and second in the Derby. You rode Coulong Road there. He'd won the Debonair. In fact, you got 3 weeks on him, Greg, so you remember him pretty well.
Yeah.
Did he fire yesterday?
No, he was disappointing yesterday. I think they'll drop him back to a mile. I think that might be his best distance.
OK, so maybe not a stay at Coulong Road. Let's go to the Carline Cup. Stylish Century scratched before the race. Unfortunately, the owner's car broke down on the way to the track, couldn't pay the $500, didn't get there in time. The horse was taken out, and for the second year in succession, George Hanlon successful.
Up towards the 600-metre mark and the leader, Bahrain, being pressured by Big Colony. Cool Credit deeper on the track. Special Sculpture, length and a half to Lord Revenue, followed by Ali Boy, who's being very hard ridden, and so is Our Man of War. They're rounding the home turn now, and Big Colony has taken a slight lead. Cool Credit coming at it strongly on the outside. Bahrain can't go on as they straighten up, and further back, Lord Revenue. It's Cool Credit on the outside. Big Colony over on the fence. Bahrain is battling on determinedly. Cool Credit over on the outside has taken the lead with 150 metres left to go. Lord Revenue finishing well down the outside, but Cool Credit was the leader. Lord Revenue starting to flash home, and so is Ali Boy. Cool Credit in front. Cool Credit will get the money. Cool Credit from Ali Boy. In third place, Lord Revenue.
First win for 2 years. I like the second and third place getters, the two New Zealanders.
Yes, and money for Greg's mount, Our Man of War, but he flopped, Greg. The jump from 14 to 2,000 metres too quick.
Yes, on reflecting, yes, it might have been just asking the horse a bit much, but he'll keep heading towards bigger things, and I'm sure he'll come up.
And the Duke of Norfolk Stakes, the target for the winner, Cool Credit, Bruce.
Yeah, do you think he'll stay the distance?
The trainer does, George Hanlon. He hasn't grown, he's still a small horse, so maybe staying is his caper.
Yes, it was good to see him bounce back and win. Let's go to Sydney yesterday. Joanne had been pretty disappointing in the Oakley Plate. She didn't fire again yesterday. She may be at the end of her tether. This is the big sprint, the Clissold handicap, and Friends Venture. Remember, he was the horse that pig-rooted at his last start. He's a pretty smart horse and got the money yesterday.
At the 600 metres mark, Mighty Sensory is the leader. Pagan Jess second, Red Shoes third, Obliged to Travel 3 deep. Friends Venture working into a good spot behind those, followed by Burrendar Boy, Quicksilver Cindy, then Ice Cream Sunday, Generous Prince, Joanne and Straussbrook behind a wall of horses. In the straight, 300 out, Mighty Sensory the leader from Red Shoes. Pagan Jest is gone. Right behind those, Quicksilver Cindy, pre-record is looking for an inside run. Joanne is going with him, and Friends Venture has swooped on them all. Look at him sprint. Friends Venture shot clear. Phantom's Hero runs into second place, but Friends Venture is holding Phantom's Hero. Phantom's Hero's grabbing him quickly now, but the post is too close. Friends Venture just held on to beat the fast-finishing Phantom's Hero. Generous Prince has run third.
Yes, he's a good horse, Friends Venture. Might be a lightweight chance in the Doncaster. Sad to see Joanne not fire yesterday. She's been a real favourite, but maybe just at the end now as a 5-year-old mare. Keith Better loosened up trialled yesterday in Adelaide.
Yes, he did, and he was clocked to run his last 600 metres in 33.6. I watched that trial on television with an experienced track watcher, track clocker, who said if he genuinely ran that time, he'll win the Australian Cup by 3 or 4 lengths.
Well, I don't think he will win the Australian Cup by 3 or 4 lengths. Greg Childs, you're going to be riding Shiver's Revenge in the Australian Cup. You did have the choice between it and Let's Elope. Now, Keith's the big Let's Elope man. He thinks she'll beat Shiver's Revenge. And which way have you gone?
I've gone Shiver's Revenge. It's been a bit unfortunate with the rider of Let's Elope. The ride came about, Cummings offered me the ride on Let's Elope, but I'm staying with Shiver's Revenge.
Did he try and talk you into riding Let's Elope?
No, he left me with the option. And
do you think he prefers Let's Elope?
Bart does, I think, yes.
Okay.
But Leon Corsten's the foreman for Bart Cummings down here in Melbourne, is confident that Shiver's Revenge is right up to equalling what Let's Elope can do.
Well, that's Monday week. It's going to be a great race. We've got the Newmarket Saturday.
Greg, modestly then, Bruce, didn't really say that he kept a commitment to ride Shiver's Revenge.
Yeah. Well, it's good luck to you, Greg. He's a great horse and you'll be very hard to beat. You might pull off the big double. Keith, hang around. We've got a story on Peter Cook after this. More on Sportsworld next. Occasion at Royal Randwick last Saturday, most of the attention was on the Queen, who was there for the Queen's Cup. But for jockey Peter Cook, the second last race, the Billy Cook Welter, was just as important to him. It was his father's memorial race and Peter's first race in almost a year.
Racing in the Makita 2-year-old, and Money Road was slowly away with Nip and Zip and Carla Boy. And also
March the 3rd, 1991, the second race at Canberra. Just another race for Peter Cook, but little did he know it would be the last he would ride for almost a year. Within half an hour of taking part in the race, the veteran jockey was racked with pain as he sat in a sauna. Cook was having a heart attack.
I was just thinking, oh hell, what's happening? What am I going to do? Don't panic, don't panic. To myself, I thought, put as little strain as possible on myself, and I just said, well, just sit down and lay down and wait for the doctor, and that's what I did, just lay down on the ground.
Black Knight in front of the 200 from Chegamar. Mapley Heights running home well, but it's Black Knight's Melbourne Cup. He's drawing away to win by 2.5 lengths. Chegamar will run second from Mapley Heights, Rose and Thistle.
For the 2 times Melbourne Cup winner, this was one big event he would rather have missed out on. He was shattered both physically and emotionally. And over the months of rehabilitation, it was a battle to regain his confidence.
Every time you get a little twinge or something, you say, oh no, is it happening again? And I think that'll take some time for that to resolve and sort of not worry so much about it.
Well, it's something you'll never forget.
I don't think so, no.
That's 5. Are you doing well?
Gradually, Peter has regained his strength. With the support of his family and friends, he's pushed his body. His goal to return to his love, racing horses again.
Look, folks, sweat. Gets into your blood, the racing, and I've done it 2/3 of my life, so I really don't know anything else, but to be away from horses, you think you're not going to miss it, but I really do, and to be back with horses, I think that'll, as I said before, build the confidence.
I wonder if I can get my legs as short anymore.
In December, after finally convincing racing authorities that he was okay to ride again, Cook returned to the track to get back into the saddle for the first time since his attack.
Go around nice and easy.
It was like watching a kid in a candy store. Peter was back in his element as he resumed track work.
What was the feeling like walking in again this morning?
It was wonderful, I tell you, the second time round.
But the big test was yet to come, to ride again in a race. Last Saturday at Royal Randwick, Peter made his return, appropriately in the Billy Cook Welter, a race named after his father.
How does it feel putting the silks back on again after all this time?
Sitting here right now, it just doesn't feel like I've been away. It's like just had a few weeks off, come back.
So what's it going to be like sitting at the starting barrier just waiting for those gates to open?
Oh, I suppose there'll be some sort of nerves there, I guess. There's always nerves there, whether they've been away or not. But I think once I get back on the horse, get on the top of the horse, that'll disappear pretty quick.
Like riding a bicycle?
Well, it is. Basically, you know, once you've done it, you never seem to forget it. It might be a little bit shaky and stiff and sore, but once that leaves you, you sort of mould yourself back into it again. At this stage, I feel pretty good. I'm not uptight and relaxed. I'm comfortable. Just hope the damn horse runs all right.
With the crowd giving him a warm welcome back and aboard the form runner Devlot, Cook was in a confident frame of mind. And at 5 minutes to 5, his long-awaited return began.
Off and running and slow to move, Secure to clear last out of the barrier. Bouncing out in front, Tombstone and Whiskey George, and Caladan has hopped away into the box seat, followed by Rough Rider. Golden Step is prominent, Devlet going quickly wide out, followed by Siege. Then Imperial Storm, Masochistic, and back behind those Painter Man, followed by Secured, improving after a slow start. A gap to Bongo Rhythm and Dixon Street, followed by Polyphony, and last of all is Wenandic. Golden Step second, Devlet third. She's had every possible hope from the wide barrier. And then Whiskey George, Tombstone, Imperial Storm and Rough Rider putting in a dash as they top the rise. Golden Step, Siege, Devlet trying to get to them, and here's Rough Rider, Tombstone just behind those. Anyone of 4 can win inside the 200. Rough Rider wide out has raced up to join Devlet. Tombstone is coming through in the centre, but Rough Rider forges clear close to home, and he's too good today, Rough Rider. Rough Rider came away to beat Tombstone. Third, Golden Step. Close up, Caladan, followed by Devlet, perfectly ridden by Cook.
It may not have been the fairy tale comeback that Peter Cook would have wanted, but he's still happy to be back, doing what he does best, racing horses. A man reunited with his love.
Would have been nice to have won it. Just add that extra little bit of sentimentality on the day, but good luck to the owners, and it's just great to be back. And I'd like to just say a special thanks to people at the races there today that welcomed me back. You know, I can't tell each and every one of them personally, but this is as close as I come, so I'd like to say thanks very much.
Yeah, Tim Wharton's story of Peter Cook and his comeback, coming back after a heart attack. One of the most famous names in Australian racing. To think that father and son have both won a Melbourne Cup, Billy and Peter Cook. It is a pretty special relationship they have with the sport.
Yes, bred to be a jockey, and he's a jockey of the finest.
And did the other one win as well, Keith?
That's testing my memory, Bruce.
Good luck next weekend, because we want some great racing in the Newmarket and also the Australian Cup.
The VRC's billing this Australian Cup as one of the...
Revenge versus Better Loosen Up and whoever else might be there on the day. We take a break. Athletics after this.